Hello, I'm Colin Green, and you are listening to Spike Pit. So for this episode then, we're delving back into the archives, picture mid-October 2018, and it's the first time I talk about my 10 by 10 by 10 idea and a blast from the past, recalling fond memories of my second, I believe, listen through of Mr. Hobbs and the Gang with Hextalk. Excellent podcast. Some of this information regarding where you can hear things and catch up with people is obviously out of date at this point. If you haven't heard it, or maybe if you have heard this episode, perhaps you still enjoy it. Reflecting on the 10 by 10 by 10 idea, still something I'm intrigued by. I think it's got some mileage, potentially got some legs on the idea, and I just haven't really got to grips with it. Getting on for nearly, 3.5 years later, just one of those things that didn't happen, and it's a bit of a shame. Perhaps when I've got a little bit more time to focus on such things, I'll have to put it into action, I guess. First up, I just want to say that I've had a long day at work today, but I've caught up on a load of listening that I wanted to do. I've been re-listening to Hextalk with Jason and Jose and Eric. There's now 6 episodes in total, and I've listened to 5 of them, and I'm going to finish listening to the last one when I've done this. But I always liked them, and I've got my next session of DMing coming up, and I'm thinking of getting something like really OSR-y going, a real OSR feel. And my last campaign was 5e, and I ran a bit of a sandbox that sprang out of the beginner set for 5e, the Fandolin and surrounding area type of thing. It totally went off of the rails of that, but it was basically a little sandbox. And now I'm thinking, I'd like to do some hex maps or something. I'm toying with the idea of running Kalmata. I've got the DCC version and the Swords and Wizardry version. I might even get a hard copy, or I might print off my PDF. But yeah, my favourite episode probably is the one where they talk about creating the random tables and this sliding random table idea. I won't go on about it, but what reason I'm saying this is, if you haven't, for whatever reason, listened to the episodes of Hextalk that are out there, and you've got any interest in Hextalks, you got to do it. Simple as that. They're amusing. There's some really good advice. I just found them inspiring, and has got my enthusiasm well up there. So, yeah, Hextalk. Oh yeah, and the other good thing is, I've been on my my podcatcher, and I can actually subscribe properly to Hextalk. So anybody else who kind of maybe like lost track of it and one thing and another with the whole switch over that's been going on with Jason and that, you can get that Hextalk on your normal podcatcher. Well, you can get it on my one anyway, Pocket Casts. I don't know if it's on iTunes or anything like that, but if you go to hobbsandfriends.com, his website, you can get all the info you want there. Plus, if you go onto the Audio Dungeon Discord, there's a Hextalk field in there, and Jose's on there pretty often, as is Jason, and you can ask any questions you've got, and I feel pretty sure they'll be straight in there answering them for you. Okay. Now the other thing I've been thinking about is, and I know I've got to do a session report, but I ran a game in Knave, and I want to do a kind of shorter campaign. I've been listening to a few things. I was listening to John on Red Dice Diaries. He was chatting with his budskies, and they were talking about starting campaigns. And then I was listening to another episode. Glenn Holstrom on Radio Grognard was talking about having a premise for your games and your campaigns and one thing and another. And this idea started to form in my mind that with Knave you've got a 10 level system, and I started thinking about this idea of the number 10, and I thought, well, what if I had 10 levels, 10 sessions, and then a time period for the campaign like 10 years? Now, I did think, well, could you do 10 hours? No. 10 weeks? Maybe, but then I'm not sure about the 10 weeks, 10 levels, not so much. Then I thought about 10 months, and I thought, campaign-wise, that's probably kind of similar to the sort of thing we do at the moment if we're playing a standard D&D game, a campaigning season where the weather holds out for about 10 months, and then maybe the characters stop adventuring for a couple of months over winter, and that seemed a bit too normal. And then I thought, well, I'd like to really move a story along at a pretty fast pace. So could you run 10 sessions and get it to cover 10 years? And I'm not suggesting necessarily that you do 1 year per session or anything like that. You might have to kind of jump a little bit here and there with the story and everything else. But I don't know, I just think there's something there that I'd like to try. But I don't quite know. I don't know really what I think about it, and I don't know. I just don't know. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to throw this idea out to the listeners. So it's 10 sessions, 10 levels, 10 years. And has anybody got any thoughts on this? If you could give us a call in, I'd really appreciate it. Just, whatever you think. If you think it's a bag of rubbish, a load of old nonsense, I've clearly lost my mind, I'm a foolish hobbit from the Shire, and I should play proper OSR games and stop fighting about with these weird concepts, just tell me that. Whatever. But yeah, I'm sourcing the table. I'm looking for some input, and that's it really. I just wanted to get this out there. I'm going to do probably tomorrow a proper episode in my more standard format, and yeah, I will do my session report. So I'm going to call it with that. Thanks everybody who's listened. And take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend. I'm done for the week now. I'm going to chill out. Catch you later.
And that, as they say, is a wrap. Big thanks goes out to you, the listener, for taking a bit of time out of your day to listen to old Spike Pit. Take care, and I'll catch you later.